And 3, 2, 1, hello. Welcome to Teach Together Try. Today's lesson is we are learning to use correct units of measurement. We are learning to use correct units of measurement. That's the learning intention. Okay, the success criteria, that's how we unpack the learning intention, which is sort of like a learning goal, really. The success criteria is things like millimetres for ants, centimetres for pencils, meters for playgrounds, and kilometres for distances to cities and big distances and stuff like that. Okay, I hope that makes some sense. My voice sounds a bit different. I've got a flu, so we're just gonna have to move on from that. I'm gonna try. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, and we're back. Here you go. Look, I thought we'd start off with just millimetres. And millimetres, I think it's maybe best if I actually got a ruler to show you. Look, stay there. I'll get a ruler. Millimetres are these tiny little things. Do you see here? It actually starts at 0. Then there's 9 little lines, so that means there's 10 little spaces. There's 10 little spaces, and each one of those tiny little spaces, all the way from, can you see that? All the way from 0 to 1 there. Each one of those little spaces is a millimetre. Look, I've drawn a picture on the board. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 spaces, 9 lines. So that means there's 10 millimetres, and they're really small, and we use those to measure things like, well, little things like ants or the tip of a pencil and stuff like that. But when you get 10 millimetres, you know what you get? You actually get a whole centimetre. And here you go, look, there's of course a whole centimetre. There you go, 0, 1, 2. And centimetres we use to measure things like, well, you know, things that are a bit bigger than ants. Things like, pencils, the length of a sandwich, maybe even the length of a book. That's appropriate for centimetres. But then you start getting 100 centimetres. Let's imagine, you know what, I'll show you 100 centimetres. Look. Here you go. Okay, so we've talked about millimetres, we've done that. We've talked about centimetres. I guess now we're talking about metres. Look, we're talking about M for metres, M for metres, and maybe I'll write that down for you. Look, millimetres, okay, there's millimetres. Centimetres, there's centimetres, and here's metres. Okay, here is metres, and here's a metre ruler. And a metre ruler actually has 100 centimetres in it. If you see, it starts down here all the way to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and goes all the way up to 90, and then, well, that's 100 centimetres, and that's a metre. And we'll measure things like, oh, the length of the playground in metres. We might measure the diameter of a whole room in metres, probably metres and centimetres, because, you know, you wouldn't, a room won't be exactly 4 metres, it'll be like 4 metres and 20 centimetres or something. Okay, but then you know what? Say we're going to go into the city. Say we're going to travel from our wonderful school here at William Carey to Preston. So we're here in Preston, here we are. Here we are in Preston's at school. There's our lovely school. What a great picture I drew. School, S for school, look at that. We're going to go all the way to the city. We've got a Centrepoint Tower, or whatever it's called these days, in the city. Westfield Tower, I don't know. You know that big tower that sits up in the middle of the city? I'll go over here so you can see. We're going to travel all the way to the city. That's quite some way. We're going to go on the M5. We're going to go on the M7. We're not going to measure that in metres. We're going to measure that in kilometres. We're going to measure that in kilometres, which is, by the way, kilometres, I'll write it down for you, KM for kilometres, and kilometres is 1,000 metres. 1,000 of these. Okay, it's like probably one big step for me, maybe 2 steps for you. Okay, so I hope that's okay. Here, I'll make it really clear for you. Watch this. Millimetres for very small. I wonder if you can see that. Millimetres for very small. That's for millimetres. Centimetres for, let's just say small things. Okay, centimetres for small things. Metres for, well, you know, we're starting to get for big things now. Metres for big things, if that makes sense. Metres for big things. And kilometres, or kilometres, however you want to pronounce it, kilometres over here for very big things. Or very long, I should say. It says instead of big, shouldn't I? Very long distances. Okay. Let's have a little bit. I'm going to ask you some questions now and see how you go with that. Okay, and here we are. We're going to do a bit of doing this together now. You're going to help me out. We're we're going to mark some of these together, and you can help me out. Now, there's an ant. How are we going to measure the length of the ant? It's very small. So what's the smallest way in which we measure? Starts with M. No? Hope you got it. Do you think it's millimetres? Okay, let's put down millimetres for the ant. Right, you might even want to draw these down. This might be good for you. We'd measure the ant in millimetres. It might be about 6 millimetres, I think, the ant. It's actually quite a big ant, but it probably could be about 6 millimetres. What about a pencil? You know, you might want to get out your ruler and measure a pencil. What do you think that would be? Have a bit of a think if you like and do it yourself. How would we measure a pencil? If you measure it in millimetres, it's going to be something like 100 millimetres or something. It's just too many. So we would probably measure a pencil in, what do you think? Centimetres. And I think you'll probably find a pencil will be about 10 centimetres or something like that. What about the distance around 5B classroom? Would I get out a 30 centimetre ruler? Would I use the millimetres for that? What would be an appropriate tool to measure the distance around the 5B classroom? I'll give you a hint. What do you think that's going to be? That's probably going to be metres. Okay? And now I've got a big long journey. We're going all the way to Canberra from Preston's. They're going to our nation's capital to congratulate our new Prime Minister on his re-election. Preston's to Canberra, is it going to be metres? Because it's going to be too many. It's going to be too many of these. No way. We're not going to use metres. We're not going to use millimetres. We're not going to use centimetres. What do we use? Have a think. Pause. Have a think. See if you can work it out. We use kilometres. KM equals KM. Kilometres, which by the way means kilo means 1,000 in, I think, Greek. So 1,000 metres. Okay, that's the together phase. You're going to do some all by yourself now. And here we are at the try phase. You're going to do these all by yourself. You're going to have a go at doing this all by yourself. You're going to draw these pictures in your book and you're going to show your teacher as well, thank you. Okay, here we go. A mobile phone. What is that going to be measured in? Perhaps the perimeter, so that side, that side, that side, that side. What are you going to measure a mobile phone in? What measurement? A 3, 2, 1. Here we are in the try phase now where you're going to try all by yourself. Once you've got a mobile phone, what are you going to measure a mobile phone in? Perhaps the perimeter, that length, that length, that length, and that length. What's the most suitable measurement? A school playground, that length, that length, that length, that length, like the perimeter. What's the most suitable measurement? The distance from William Carey Christian School to the country of Japan. What are you going to use for that? What measurement, what appropriate measurement value will you use for that? And what about the distance of a rubber band or the length or even just the circle size of a rubber band? What's going to be the measurement for a rubber band? Something very small, just a little rubber band like that. Okay, pause me, have a go. Let's see how you go. Okay, I hope that you paused me and we're back. Let's have a look. You should have measured a mobile phone in centimetres. The perimeter of a mobile phone should be in centimetres, like cm or centimetres, right? Centi means 100, by the way. School playground should have been in metres, okay? So m or metres, okay? A rubber band should have been in millimetres, thank you. Millimetres. And William Carey Christian School to Japan should have been km, or same thing, kilometres. Thank you. Kilometres, kilo meaning 1,000, so 1,000 metres. All right, this has been Teach Together Try. We've been learning correct measurements to use with regard to particular distances or lengths. Okay, and you're going to be using either millimetres, centimetres, metres, or kilometres. Okay, thanks guys. See you later.